Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pound for Pound Show, episode number 16. I had to check my notes. Done so many episodes, I can't keep them all straight. So I am Philip, and joining me as always are Ben and Russ. How you gentlemen doing?
Very
Good.
good. Good.
Good.
How about
Good.
you, Phil?
I am tremendous as always. So coming off a big weekend of some fights, we got some more good fights coming up this weekend. So without further ado, let's get into we'll recap last weekend's fights. Obviously, a huge main event. Welterweight title was on the line. Gilbert Burns, Kamaru Usman, good fight. Break it down for us, Russ. What'd you see? What'd you like?
Man, I liked it a lot. Like I went into it with very low expectations, and I really liked that fight. I'm starting to possibly become a little bit of a Kamaru fan. Like he's impressed me with a couple real good performances and just his heart, man. Like at that first round against Gilbert, it looked tough. He got caught behind the ear and dropped, and like it's a very dangerous spot to get hit. And then Gilbert went to the ground and was like wanting him to jump into his guard and like play the jujitsu game. And when Kamaru wouldn't go to the ground with him, I thought it might be trouble because like if he was slower standing up and getting caught and he couldn't do anything on the ground, what was going to happen. But he recovered and then started working that jab in the second round. Super impressive jab. Unbelievable how hard that thing was landing on him. And then you could tell after round two, it was a wrap for Gilbert. He finished him in round three with the flurry, but great performance. I'm starting to really enjoy Usman's fights, and Gilbert Burns was awesome too. Like that was a great performance. I almost think he screwed up. Like when he stayed on the ground that long after rocking him, like it gave Kamaru a lot of time to recover. I wish he would not have done that, but great performance by him. He'll be back. He's so good, and he showed it.
Yeah. Kamaru looked awesome. Came back after getting rocked in the first to get the finish, and nobody thought he would get the finish because Kamaru's not really a finishing type, but he's really stepped up his game, and he's looking more for the kill in his recent fights, So yeah, but Burns looked good too. Burns looked good in that first round. I think he kind of blew his wad. He gassed out, and he even said he went Cody Garbrandt crazy, after when he rocked him. So
Funny line.
I don't know. I think he went too crazy and he gassed himself out. But Usman looked awesome. Usman looked great. So he's up there with like the greatest welterweights ever. He's getting more records by the fight. So people are starting to take notice, and it's exciting to see where he goes from here.
Put some respect on his name, as he likes to say. So
Yeah.
I think the most impressive thing is how, like, even as dominant of a champion he has been, he continues to add things to his game. Like that jab was, so impressive. And that's really the first time we've seen him anywhere close to that level using something like that. So if he becomes a really dangerous striker, you'd start to be like, man, who the heck is going to beat this guy? Because he's pretty dominant in that division. No one has really even been close. So,
right.
We'll get back to that welterweight division in a bit. We'll just quickly touch on two other fights. Ben, I'll let you start off and recap the co-main event because you're such a Macy Barber fan. The Barber Alexa Grasso fight. How'd you like that?
It went kind of how I expected. Alexa Grasso picked her apart on the feet for the first two rounds at least, and then Macy knew she was down two. She came out strong in the third and started swinging, and she took the third, I think. But Grasso looked real good. Barber's on a 2-fight lose streak. I'm excited to see where Grasso goes from here. She probably cracks the top 10. Yeah, that's all I got to say on that. What do you think, Russ?
Yeah, she looked good. I thought it was a pretty decent fight. Macy's still only 22, so she's got a lot of time to grow. And Grasso's boxing looked super good. Like I would like to see her in there against another like real good striker. Like I don't know if she's ready for Joanna or Rose, but like those fighting styles seem to match up to make it like a really fun fight.
Mm-hmm.
If they do that down the road.
Yeah, if she can chain one or two more wins together, like she might put herself in position to get that fight. So
yeah, because her boxing did look real slick. So
right. Yeah,
that'd be a fun matchup.
It was funny. I was thinking back because, you kind of forgot about it, but kind of all the hype that Macy Barber's had recently, that's how Alexa Grasso was when she first came on board. They were super big on her. And then, she kind of had a couple setbacks and then kind of fell by the wayside as people tend to do. So it'll be, she's, kind of where maybe where Macy Barr will be at that next step after, you know, she had a setback or two, you know, add some things to her arsenal and, you know, puts in a little more time, and we'll see. It'll be interesting to see where they both go. So, and then real quick, we'll touch on the Gastelum Ian Heinisch fight. So Russ, how'd you like that one?
I thought it was pretty good. I was happy to see Gastelum, you know, start to work his wrestling and stuff. You know, he looked good. He's fought better competition, and, you know, he's more experienced, even though he's only 29 years old. So he just overmatched Heinisch. I was happy to see it, you know, because he's so well-rounded and he has everything. It's just, he has these slip-ups, you know, where his conditioning is in question, or he freaking, like, he got tapped out the one time in the first round. Just these slip-ups where you can't understand how it even happens when he goes to a 5-round war with Adesanya. But I'm happy to see him get a win. I want to see him string together some more wins and move back up there. I like him. He's just a likable dude, but
he is.
He has these slip-ups that are unexplainable.
Yeah, Calvin looked good. He kind of played it safe, you know. What didn't make for the most exciting fight. I actually bet on the KO TKO, and I wasn't too happy that I lost that. But Calvin looked good. He just outclassed Heinisch. Heinisch wasn't ready for that level of competition, I don't think. He's still pretty young, so he's got some years left. And Calvin needed that win. He arguably was fighting for his job right there. And
that's why he played it so safe. I think that 3-fight losing streak, you see fighters like, I just got to do whatever it takes, you know, to get this win.
Couldn't be risky and throw, you know, caution to the wind or whatever. But Calvin looked good. Wasn't it that great of a fight, but good job, Calvin.
Yep.
Sometimes you just got to get the win. That's what it's about. So cool. Well, let's circle back to the beginning, you know, now that we've recapped that card, and really talk about like what's next in the welterweight division. What would you guys like to see? You know, there's a lot going on. Obviously, Kamaru's got to have another fight booked for him. There's a lot of guys in the mix. There's a whole lot going on. So, you know, kind of, you guys, I'll shoot it to Ben first and then over to Russ, and you kind of let me know maybe what you think will happen and what you would like to see happen.
Well, there's so many options with the top 5-6 guys at welterweight, like in a really like insane amount of options. I was on Twitter and like I was scrolling my feed and looking at everyone's like what they want to happen in that division, and it's like something different. Everyone wants something different, and it all kind of makes sense. You could do George Colby on Ultimate Fighter, or you could do George Colby, Usman. Like those three, you can kind of do 2 of those on Ultimate Fighter in the rematch. And then you got Leon Edwards. He's probably going to fight. They're saying Colby now, so that fight makes sense too. But what I want personally is Leon Edwards versus George, and then you give Colby the rematch. That's what I want. Or I think Leon Edwards should fight Usman, and then you give George and Colby, let George and Colby fight for the next shot, because they've already fought Usman. There's just so many things you could do. And then you got Wonder Boy waiting in the wings. He still needs a win though. He's the only guy that Usman really hasn't fought in that top 5-6. You got Chimaev out there. He's still down the rankings though. And those are the top guys. I don't know. I want to see Colby Usman too, because I loved that first fight. And I want to see George versus Leon, because that fight makes sense after the whole backstage altercation of like a year or 2 years ago. What do you think, Russ?
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with seeing Usman Covington too. That would be great, because that first fight was so awesome. Covington pushed him about as far as you can push a champion. But, you know, in a dream scenario, I was thinking like, I would really like to see, if we could book it. Yeah, I'd like to see GSP come back and fight Usman, just because they're so comparable in everything they do. And like, I feel like GSP is still pretty fresh. I don't feel like he's one of those old dudes that is like, you know, on his way out. Like if he were to come back, I still feel like that would be the toughest fight for him. And they're just so similar. They both have the great wrestling. They both have that violent jab. Both have been great welterweight champions. I'd love to see that.
But one thing, GSP says that fight doesn't motivate him. That's what he said.
I know. I seen that. That's why I was saying just a dream scenario. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, it also, you know, another dream scenario would be like Khabib coming out and fighting Usman, just because they're both such dominant champions, even though it's a different weight class. Khabib's power, I think, transcends divisions. I think he could move up and deal with it.
And he's
But
a massive 155er as well.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, he's had the weight cutting issues in the past, so 170 would be fine for him. And Usman has those skinny legs. I don't feel like he's a giant, 170. Like I feel like that's his division. I feel like if Usman went to 185, it'd be big trouble. Like don't mess around and move up to middleweight.
Yeah.
So those are a couple of dream fights I was thinking, but realistically, Usman Wonderboy makes the most sense to me. Yeah, that's the only dude he hasn't beaten out of all those top guys.
Yeah.
And Wonderboy looked so good last time, and he's just a stylistic nightmare for people. So that seems good. And then next for Burns, maybe Colby. I don't think that match has been done.
True.
Yeah, and they're both so good.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun fight. And then you said Masvidal Edwards. That fight makes sense for so many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be the way.
Yeah,
I'd
those
do
are
it.
good. Those are good matchmaking fights. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, it is cool because I was thinking like welterweight was like not very fun, and now it seems to be like really picking up.
There's a lot of different things you could do. Yeah.
Yeah, Usman putting on more entertaining fights, and now we know Gilbert is like a legit contender. I didn't know he had that kind of power in his stand-up. I'm just amazed, that he caught Usman like that, and Usman's chin was even tested.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I like everything you guys said. I think a couple of those dream fights would be awesome, but I don't see them happening. But a couple things is I read literally just a couple hours ago, like Covington came out and said there is no chance he's fighting Leon Edwards. He said that's just a way. He said, I'm not running a charity here. So he seems pretty dead set on getting a fight with Usman, which, you could debate. He's done enough to earn that. That's, up for debate. I think obviously there's an appeal to him and Masvidal with their history and everything like that. And then I think another X factor is, and it's, again, we're almost to dream status, Nate Diaz made it pretty clear he wants to fight at 170. So, if he's going to get a fight at 170, there's some, obviously the rematch with Masvidal makes a ton of sense because that's a huge money making fight and a super exciting main event. A lot that can be done. So yeah, I agree that division, that it could be very exciting in the coming months. So be curious to see what direction they end up going. And then obviously it seems like they've really, without saying it, like 2 people from that are going to coach the Ultimate Fighter. Which obviously is going to be a big deal, but could tie up a couple people for a while. So but then they have tons of interesting matchups they can make around those 2 guys.
It seems like Leon Edwards is kind of getting like the Chandler treatment. Like he's right up there, but like nobody is interested in the fight, whether because he's not like enough of a draw or
right.
They just don't
exactly
like
it.
the dude. I don't know. I mean, that's what I would think. He's not enough of a draw, but
yeah, it's a very high risk, low reward. He's ranked number 3. He's won, I think, 8 in a row, just off the top of my head without me looking. He's a super dangerous guy. And like, if you beat Leon Edwards, like how much does that really do for your stock? Especially if you're one of the guys ranked ahead of him. Like if Colby takes that fight, what's in it for Colby to win that fight? If he loses, it'd be like massive, disastrous.
Well, the hardcore fans know that beating Leon Edwards is no easy task,
Right.
But as far as casuals go, they don't, beating Leon does nothing. And you got to it's got to be Colby, George, Usman. Those are like the 3 big names, marketable names,
They got to get to Usman quick, man, because the longer he's with Whitman, the worse it's going to get,
Oh yeah.
You already seen major improvements in his stand-up, and that was one camp. Like the more time he gets, it's just going to get scarier and scarier. So
true. Yeah.
Better get him.
Yeah.
This is true. He is an animal. He's
training with Whitman and living with Gaethje. He's only going to get better standing up. Like
100%.
So crazy to me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. He's a scary dude. I think that people are finally to the point. It's hard to deny how good that dude is at this point, no matter how much of a naysayer you may have been at one point. So he's a killer. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the fights coming up this weekend. One of the first, I know we've talked a lot about the heavyweight division over the last few weeks. Got a pretty exciting main event. We got Curtis Blaydes and Derek Lewis. Let you guys break that down. Go to Russ first. Break that down for us. How do you see it going, and what do you like about that fight?
I mean, I love the heavyweights. I'm excited for this card just because we got 4 heavyweight fights on there, but I'm never super pumped to see Derek Lewis fight. He just doesn't thrill me very much. He's been one-dimensional his whole career, even though he gets a lot of knockouts. He's a knockout guy with extremely questionable conditioning, who it seems like it's the same thing every time. Either he gets tired and like he'll lose, or he'll get the KO. Like it's just one way or the other. I think this is the worst possible matchup for him in the entire UFC heavyweight division. Curtis Blaydes, I just don't see how he doesn't wrestle him and take him down and maybe pound him out, or maybe just hold him and smother him for 5 rounds. But I just think it's a tough matchup. Curtis Blaydes is like a true dark horse in the division. Like he's what does he have? Like 5-fight win streak or something like 9 out of 10. Yeah. Like his only loss is to Ngannou. He's beaten everybody else pretty much. Right. He's been great. So I don't see this being a good fight for Lewis in any way. I think Curtis Blaydes will get it done. You know, he's not the most exciting dude. He's not incredibly boring, but I think that's kind of why he flies under the radar. He's just not incredibly exciting for a heavyweight.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't agree more, Russ. I think it's a terrible matchup for Lewis. I think Blaydes smothers him, wrestle humps him, and, you know, just keeps it on the ground, wrestles him and keeps it on the ground most of the fight. And I think he finishes him in the third or fourth round. And yeah, you're right. Blaydes is such a dark horse in the division because his fighting style isn't exciting really. And he's even come out and said that he doesn't care. He just wants to get the W, and it doesn't
make almost always does. Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't make him that much like likable of a fighter when you actually say that. And yeah, but I'm going to go with Blaydes. I think like I said, I think he wrestles him the whole time and finishes it. I think he's going to finish it. What do you think, Phil?
I almost 100% exactly what you two said. I think it's, you know, but I do want to preface that where I have used the statement, I see no scenario where Derek Lewis wins this fight on about 5 fights that he's won. So yeah, I gotta be fair. That mother effer has cost me so much money betting against him. But Blaydes has been great. And, you know, I don't think he's as boring as everyone thinks he does. He finished JDS on his feet. I'm sure Ben has nightmares about what he did to Overeem with those elbows on the ground. He's pretty aggressive.
Knew you were going to bring it up.
Yeah, I had to. So, but he finishes a lot of guys on the ground. You know, he just, you know, like I think it might even be quicker than you think. Probably second or third round. I think he's just going to take Derek Lewis down and he's going to beat him up. And Derek Lewis is going to get tired and he's just going to lay there and get punched a bunch of times until they pull Curtis Blaydes off of him. I don't see any other than obviously the Derek Lewis knockout. If Derek Lewis comes out, because he's been coming out pretty aggressive, throwing flying knees at the beginning of rounds and stuff like that. He's going to have to catch Blaydes early, or I think they're going to be long, frustrating rounds for him where he's going to be on the bottom just covering up.
Yeah, and another thing, I watched a Blaydes fight recently, and that guy's speed is actually underrated. That guy's one of the quicker heavyweights in the division going against Derek Lewis, who I would say is one of the slower heavyweights in the division. So that's going to be an advantage he has.
Yep. I will, to be contrarian, I will give credit where credit is due, where like Derek Lewis frustrates me because conditioning has been so bad. His last couple fights, he has been in like the best shape of his career. Not that he's been in the best shape, period, but it appears there is some level of commitment to his training. So we'll see if that plays in. I doubt it, but I figured, you know, we gave him absolutely no credit for anything. We couldn't just completely bury the guy. I had to give him one positive for Lewis fans in the world. So,
yeah.
It's not saying much if his conditioning was better. It was about as bottom of the barrel as you can get. It means like he slipped in like one salad during his like training camp instead of like going straight up like Wendy's and Arby's the whole time.
My favorite part, and obviously you'll see my boy back there, Derek Lewis gassed out against Mark Hunt. When Mark Hunt's cardio is better than yours.
Yeah.
You should probably consider a career change, isn't it?
I mean, if we are going to talk about gas tanks for a minute, let's talk about Vieira gassing out in 2 minutes. Like that was the hardest I've seen somebody gas out.
Well,
maybe ever.
Look at the guy. I mean, it's like,
oh, for sure. But that was just hilarious because like he gassed so hard, he couldn't even lift his arms to block punches. It was like, that was the closest I've seen to that was probably Shane Carwin against Lesnar, where he just died after round 1. But
that's right.
This was quicker. This was like 3 minutes.
That was almost Dada 5000 bad.
Yeah.
the Phil Baroni special. Just go out and wing haymakers for 2 minutes and then literally hands on your knees, gasping for breath.
That was some funny crap.
Rogan was actually saying, this is the most tired I've ever seen a human.
Oh, their reactions were so funny. Cormier, Anik, and Rogan. They were all so funny.
That was great.
Yeah.
But how impressive was it to submit that dude? Like, what are the odds that guy, what's that guy's name? I forget.
It was 30-1 odds.
30-1.
Yeah, that's so crazy. It was the most unlikely scenario. And that
Anthony Hernandez. That's
Mhm.
crazy, man.
I have to throw in my obligatory Ben good dude thing. I did see Vieira put out this statement, and he's pretty respectful, and he's like, man, I'm still learning this game, and definitely mistakes were made. So he's a good dude, Ben.
He was a good dude about it. Good.
MMA conditioning is just different than like jujitsu tournament conditioning. Jujitsu tournament's so much slower, and just like you use like your body weight and stuff. Like it's just completely different. MMA conditioning. He learned that, real quick. That
He learned that the hard way.
Yeah. I mean, he looked good though for the first minute. You're like, as soon as he's like just powered him down, it was like, oh God, this is going to be quick. And then the gas tank left him. So
if you can survive those first few minutes with that guy, you're in the clear, man.
Oh, I think I could have beat him after that 3 minutes. Like he could not even raise his arms to block a
for
punch.
sure you could have. Yeah.
Amazing.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That is wild. So cool. Any other fights you guys want to touch on this? Some cool heavyweights, obviously always fun to see Andrei Arlovsky. He's got a big fight coming. If you guys have any feelings on that one?
Oh, I think it's a tough matchup for him. Aspinall's good, man. I think Aspinall's going to get the KO.
Yeah, Aspinall's an up and comer, man. He's
an up and comer, and it seems like Arlovsky keeps getting put against these young guns. I mean, he survived last time against Bozer, but we'll see what he can do against Aspinall.
He didn't survive. He won.
I know he did win, but it was a decision. I'm saying he survived the 3 rounds.
That's how
survived.
That's how MMA works, man. The old dudes are just fed to the young up and comers just for them to make a name. That's how it is. It's just,
you guys know I feel about Arlovsky like Ben does about Overeem. Like I feel like he's always got one more run in him. Like Arlovsky could win the title. Like this could be his year. So
hey, we all love Arlovsky. Who doesn't love Arlovsky?
Yeah.
But we're all rooting for Arlovsky here, but that's pretty unlikely.
Yeah. I didn't see the odds on the fight, but it's I feel like we'll get to that in the best bet. So, and then speaking of dudes who are fighting back time, freaking Alexei Olenek is on this card as well.
43 years old, baby.
I love that. He's got like 75 pro fights. He might have more fights than Overeem, which is like
I don't think so.
I think he's 59-14.
No, you're right then.
He's certainly right there if he doesn't have more. I think he's like 70 some fights.
That's
which
crazy.
Is crazy. And he hasn't, and he definitely, there are times where it looks like he's actually legitimately moving in slow motion.
I know.
But he's getting wins, and he's real sneaky, and he's been pretty effective.
Mm-hmm.
So excited to see that one as well. So, well, Russ, tell the people how they can make some money this weekend.
Okay, let's try to get some best bets in here that actually happened. My last 2 cards, I picked one fight, and both of them got taken off the card. Due to
gotta pick more than one fight.
Different reasons. Yeah, I got 3 this time, so we're getting some freaking bets.
Yeah, nice.
Got to increase your odds one way or the other.
Yeah, I was betting on all the fights throughout the night, but for the best bet segment, I try to give out like some random winners and underdogs and stuff, but it's a couple favorites this week. I'm taking Chris Daukaus against Olenek. I think just
what the hell?
I think Daukaus is going to finish him. I mean, Olenek's freaking 43 years old. And like you said, like he's got to be the slowest dude in the UFC. Like he looks so slow at this point.
Yeah.
I can't see him winning. And Daukaus is minus 175. I feel like that's pretty good odds to be a super old man.
Yeah.
And I'm taking Aspinall, going to win by KO. That prop is minus 105. He's finished his last 6 fights in the first round. Like Aspinall is a destroyer, and Arlovsky has shown that he's finishable. He's been stopped many times.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're all Pitbull fans, but we're giving bets that are realistic here.
Yeah. Makes sense. It makes sense.
We're not betting with our heart this week.
Yeah, no, that's a smart bet.
And then I'm taking Charles Rosa minus 190 against Derek Minner. Rosa's just got a much better record, and I think that line is a little bit off. So we got 3 picks, awesome. 2 heavyweight fights.
Great.
If Pitbull wins, everybody's happy because the Pitbull got to win. He loses, we'll make a little money. It'll be good.
There we go. Let's make some money.
Yep.
I guess that does soften the blow a little bit.
Yeah,
so.
and I'll stay away from that Derek Lewis fight every which way I can because I cannot predict that dude's fights. He's just
I have to assume that Blaydes is a pretty heavy favorite in that fight.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to say like minus 350 or something like that. Like pretty
just,
big.
Wow.
It's just not worth it, like no matter how sure you are. Like you got to be awfully sure if someone's minus 350 to bet anything.
Yeah, you almost want to throw money on like Lewis at like plus 225 or plus 250 just because he's shown us so many times he can lose freaking 4 rounds in 4 minutes and like pull out a Hail Mary.
Haymaker, yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm not messing with Derek Lewis fights anymore. He's kryptonite to me.
That's probably a good move. Even though like I go the opposite way, like I feel like Derek Lewis should like cut us a check and like actually send me some of the money, like the bullshit he's pulled and the things that he's cost me.
Yeah, for sure. But you can only double down so many times. You're just like, F it. This dude is unpredictable. Like,
that's true.
Yeah,
that is true. That is true. Well, I hope if you people take Russell's advice, you lose your money this week. I feel bad saying that, but
no, we're going 3-0 this week, baby.
Yes.
If all 3 fights happen, who knows?
That's true. That is
probably
true.
like one fight will happen, but
at least if you get 1 or 2, at least you got some picks. So
yeah, let's get something on there.
Yeah.
Boys, anything else you guys wanted to cover before we wrap this shindig up?
I wanted to bring up the Marquez versus Patolo fight from the last weekend's card just because I thought it was a pretty fun fight, and I thought Marquez's post-fight speech was absolutely insane. Like,
it was.
Going from like saying which city's the loudest, like I don't know what the hell that was about, and then going to asking out Miley Cyrus, which like he actually got a response.
Yeah,
and then he freaking screwed it up. Yeah, like oh my god.
That was funny, man.
I'm hurt for him. Like when I seen like it's like when she asked that, like I would have sent her a pic back like with MC shaved into my balls. Like there you go. Like yeah, I did you one better. It's not even on like my chest. Like
I think there's laws against that, but
she would have dug it. She's freaking Miley.
Yeah.
Yes,
that was funny though. That was like a wrestling promo he cut after that fight, man.
Yeah, I think that's why it like drew me in. Like I liked the insanity of like just going completely off the grid. Rogan's just like, what's happening right now?
He's a character, Marquez.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool.
He made me a fan.
Yeah, can't watch that though. No, he's too stupid. Like you can't, like that's you're a fool. That guy.
Yeah. When I seen she responded, I was like, oh my God, like I cannot believe she got back to this lunatic.
Yeah, he was operating so far above his pay grade for one tweet, and then like
he was
it all
100%.
Yeah, what a stooge.
If he can't recover that somehow, it hurts the soul.
Yeah, there is a small part of me that feels bad, but when someone does something that dumb, it's hard to feel pity for them. So
shoot your shot like that wildly and get a response and freaking
and then
mess it up.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Brutal.
Yeah.
If you guys enjoyed the bet segment that we had, we're going to do more, and we're going to come up with some random ideas, and we're going to put them on a wheel, and the loser has to spin the wheel, and that's going to determine your fate. So, we've got some big fights coming up. So we're really excited about that. But for the handful of people that are watching, if you guys have some cool bet ideas, drop them down in the comments after you watch this episode. We'll be excited to work in some fan bets for sure. So excited to see what happens next. If you guys want to do some things, we're all about it. So
yes,
we're going to lean heavily into the gambling aspect of the show and, really torture ourselves for some likes and subscriptions. So
yes,
you give us the likes and subscriptions and we'll do that. We'll bring the stupidity.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. Like
we'll do anything you want.
No bet. There's a part of me that thinks we really only watch sports so we have something to bet on. So
that
might be why we're here. So
yeah, you take the gambling aspect out of it. I'm out.
Trash. Sports are trash. No, I'm kidding.
So, yeah, but we'll have some exciting stuff in the coming week. So, exciting for you guys, hopefully. Probably not so exciting for us, but nonetheless. With that being said, we'll let you guys go. Appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Enjoy the fights this weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for watching.
Till then, we'll see you guys.
Like, subscribe, and share, baby.
Woo!